الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين اللهم اجمعنا وإياهم في جنان الفردوس اللهم آمين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. So we are going to continue with our series of wisdom in faith. Right? We're pursuing wisdom in faith. What does it mean? Is in life, a lot of people can give you words of wisdom. And they can be Muslim, they can be non-Muslim, they can have different ideology, schools. I mean, we do not know. But for the sake of Al-Jannah, we Muslims want to seek wisdom through our faith, through our Iman, through Al-Islam. So inshallah today, I want to ask you a question, or maybe we are together going to find a question that I hope none of you will have to ask ever again. The question you never want to ask yourself. Let's take some wild guesses here. A question you really never want to ask yourself.
Why am I Muslim?
Not really.
Oh my God.
Oh, you're just cheating. You just saw it. But that's not the question. Oh my God, it's not a question, Mustafa.
What's wrong with my life?
What's wrong with my life? My God, you're plagiarizing right on the screen. So here we go. Oh my God, you get that face, right? But what the hell happened to my life? You know, it's happened to a lot of people. I mean, they're just living normal lives, and all of a sudden they wake up one day and like, how did this happen? So inshallah today, we will try to figure out how to avoid asking such a question. Well, in Islam, we believe in prevention rather than treatment. You know, you don't want to go through the patch up symptoms of a certain disease, but you want prevention. Let's take this example. So basically, what the picture shows us, if like the example of dentistry, if you maintain a good health in your teeth, you will never have to have these painful doctor visits when he has to have to drill through your teeth and all of the pain that is involved, right? Good. So this is what Islam is all about. Islam does not want to make your life hard. There are reasons why we have things that are halal and why things that are haram. So that you prevent yourself from committing those things that will bite you back, whether in this dunya or in the akhirah, as we will see. Now, many of us think that when we live in a normal life, you're just going about life like as a cool guy. You know what I mean? You're just doing your thing, and you see someone with let's take the example of this BMX guy just riding his bike, you know, doing his thing, and you never give it a second thought until things get out of control. This is how life works. We simply don't pay attention to things until things start going wrong. For example, at least when I was growing up, it was normal to see people smoking. They're just chatting, smoking, and the other guy said, "You have a cigarette? Yeah, you have a cigarette?" And this guy lights to this guy, and they don't even bother talking or thinking about the consequences until one day some guy gets a phone call from the doctor, and he said, "Oh, you got lung cancer." Then things start go out of control. Then their lives goes back to this. You see? And it takes only 1 second. One moment you're driving your car normal, and that's why we say, you know, in Islam, alcohol is haram, you're not supposed to drink. But imagine, you know, someone, and unfortunately there are Muslims who do that, someone drunk and is driving, and that day that he's driving, I mean, just normal, you don't recognize that he's drunk. He's just some guy in the car, and then he falls asleep, and there's a curve, and he flips his car in the air, and then there's an accident, and he hits someone in the process, and then things go out of control. And by the way, every day you guys grow up, you are at risk of things going out of control. Especially the way you learn how life works. So today, inshallah, since I've been through growing up, I'm here to share with you how does growing up work. Right? Life is an accumulation of decisions that will affect your future and shape your personality. So let me tell you, it's very simple. You are living on this earth, right? And you have to make decisions. And based on your decisions, your future will be shaped and your personality will be shaped. If you tend to make bad decisions growing up, when you be older, much older, an adult, you will keep doing bad mistakes. And I've seen it with my own eyes. People in my village, you see them, they're two brothers. One brother's put himself through school, trade, he's helping the family with the business. The other one has been a spoiled brat, doesn't want to do well in school, he always spends his money on gambling. And I go back to visit 20 years later, the guy is 46, 50 years old, and he's still acting like a teenager. Because that process of making mistakes has been with him since he was growing up. So the time that you guys are growing up now is very critical that you train yourself to start making good decisions. But now, I'm going to tell you what you guys really care about. Let me tell you something. You ask anyone on the internet, Facebook, any social media, or directly, you know what they're going to tell you? I'm a good person. Everybody has a perception about themselves as being good persons. Everybody will tell you, everyone in this room, I want to finish memorizing the Quran. It happens to me myself. But is it really what we want? So today, I'm going to translate that language inside your head, which is called the language of growing up, to plain English. Welcome to What Do Young People Really Want in Life? You guys, whether you accept it or not, you just want to look cool. That's why you keep asking your parents for just $200 sneakers, and you're not in the NBA. You guys want to impress others. That's why you talk like a gangster, even though you live in a suburb, and your name is Muhammad Hamdi Abdi. That's why you try to act like a diva, and your name is Khadija, or Maryam, or Fatima. They just try to live somebody else's life. Just because you want to impress others and you want to fit in with others. And people who do that. So she said that they were dating in high school, and then he told her he cannot marry her because she was non-Muslim, and then she became a Muslim for him to marry her. And then she said, wait a minute, sister, you were doing haram things. You know what she told me? Brother, don't judge me. Don't judge you? You were doing something haram openly, and I'm telling you it's haram, so you have to stop what you're doing first, repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, become a better Muslim, then we talk. Don't judge me. Oh, my God. So anyways, and Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is telling us, when it comes to choosing the crowd you want to hang out with, choosing your friends, the following. And the hadith is longer, so I summarize this. Companions can be good or bad, just like someone who sells perfume and someone who is a blacksmith. You know what a blacksmith is back in the day? Someone who works iron. What do they use to heat up the iron? Coal, right? They use coal, and they keep, blowing air into the coal so it becomes warm. So the hadith says, the continuation of the hadith says, if you hang out with someone who sells perfume, the least that can happen to you is you smell a good fragrance, or he will have you try some perfume, like, oh, I have good perfume on me. Oh, you will buy from him. So the only 3 things you get from a perfume seller is 3 positive things. As if you hang out with a blacksmith, he says, first off, you will be smelling smoke. By the way, blacksmith is an honorable job. I'm not saying, there's anything wrong with it, but it just shows you, if you're hanging out at the blacksmith shop, you better be dressed for it, because he said, one of the embers will fly on your on your clothing and will burn it. You will make smoke, or something hot will touch you and it will burn your skin. So choose those who you want to associate with, because you will be recognized based on the crowd you hang out with. And I'm gonna build up to a story that I want to share with you today, inshallah ta'ala. But before that, we wanna build up to that personality, the 2 main characters of the story we'll see today. So I'm going to ask, who is stronger? We look at this picture, this gangster wannabes they're showing off their guns. So this guy had a shotgun, some guns, right? And they got a bunch of fake jewelry, and then the attitude, right? So these four guys, they're showing off their weapons. They think they're tough, right? So technically, if they do anything against the law, who is stronger? You know what a SWAT team is? Special Weapons Assault Team. These people are trained. So you think a gangster will win against the government? So who's stronger? So no matter how much of a gangster you want to be, or how much of a thug you think you are, there's always one guy from these guys that can make your life a living hell. So now, after we saw who's stronger, we want to make a choice, because this sign, I chose this sign on purpose because you notice that this is not an exit. This is the end of the freeway. You either make a left turn or a right turn. Exit now. That means sometimes in your life you have no choice but to make a choice, to make a decision. And that decision could either be life-saving or life-threatening. A small example, right? A small example. You are walking in the street, right? Just minding your business. And then you see a bag with some drugs in it. You look at that bag and you pick it up. Oh, that's worth, let's say, $100. Well, I'm not smoking anything. I'm not using it. I'm just going to go sell it to that guy I know he smokes and get $100. Now, in that moment, you made that choice to pick up that bag and a cop was watching you. You are gone. You go to jail for one decision. Now tell me, 9 months in jail, is it worth $100 to you? You make the other decision and say, Astaghfirullah, what the hell is this? And you don't even touch it and you keep walking. And you go about your life. And in those 9 months, you probably graduate, memorize 5 juz of Quran, go on vacation, work out, become an NBA player or something. So let's see how choice will affect you. You choose to study hard because life is about choices. You have to make choices on a daily basis. You choose to study hard, you graduate, you make money, and you're happy with your professional life. You choose to discipline yourself to memorize the Quran, and you become Hafid, and you're honorable both in the dunya and in the akhirah. In the dunya you get honored, and in the akhirah you have a higher status. Your choice. To hang out with the wrong crowd, you commit a crime, you go to jail. Your choice. And then when you go to jail, you have plenty of time to regret that one choice. When you see a bunch of people, your friends doing something wrong, and you jump in the bandwagon and you do it with them. Just because you want to fit in, you want to be cool, you want to impress your friends, and the cops show up. Everybody freeze. Put your hands behind your back. Everything you say will be used against you.
In the court of law.
In a court of law, mashallah. So, if you go to jail, you become a felon, and it's on your record for life. It will never be removed. You try to get this job, they tell you, oh, we will pay you this much money. Oops, by the way, you're a convicted felon, I'm sorry, we're not going to hire you. So your life is going to build up to be a nightmare. That's why most criminals go back to jail. It's a rotation, because once they come out of jail, they cannot fit in society, nobody accepts them, and they go back. It's hard for that small decision, picking up a bag, smoking a joint, insulting someone, pushing someone over and they fall off the sidewalk and they break their leg, pulling someone's hijab, insulting some woman in the street. You're gone. Small decision. And you will pay for it dearly. Because sometimes it's just a little too late. When the ship sails and the train leaves the station, it's too late for you. You cannot come back. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about this in the Quran. He says that those kuffar are in Jahannam. Once they enter Jahannam, Allah is not going to exterminate them. They're not going to die away. They're going to stay living in Jahannam, suffering. They don't die, and the punishment is never eased up on them. And that's how Allah says, I will reward. That's the reward, that's the punishment of the kuffar. And in the Jahannam they are screaming, oh our Lord, please Take us out of Jahannam so we go back to the dunya and do something good, do something positive. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, what? Well, I gave you a whole lifetime and you didn't do anything. Now it's too late. Didn't I send you warners? Like a warning, a Prophet Muhammad who was giving you the warning, telling you to be good believers, to be Muslims, and you chose to do bad deeds? Well, today, it's a little too late. You should taste the punishment, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never be an ally for those who are evil. Let's talk about our story. There were two friends in middle school. Their decision, accumulation. Because you take one decision in life, and next day you make another decision, and another decision, another decision, make a choice, another choice, another choice. So it becomes an accumulation that you cannot rewind. So today, inshallah, we want to look at this accumulation and read.
Hi, Mr. Booth, you're back. This time you're charged with a burglary?
From the classroom to the courtroom.
Okay, Mr. Booth, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go to Nautilus for middle school?
Oh my goodness.
49-year-old Arthur Booth, now a suspected burglar, reuniting with his middle school classmate, Judge Mindy Glazer. Now, decades later, the two have been brought together in the court of law. Booth breaking down in tears during the unexpected reunion.
I'm sorry to see you there. I always wondered what happened to you, sir.
Oh my goodness.
This is the nicest kid in middle school.
Oh my goodness.
On June 29th, Booth was seen leaving the scene of a burglary at Northwest North River Drive and 36th Street in Hialeah. Police say Booth failed to pull over as they tried to conduct a traffic stop. The police report says, quote, Mr. Booth drove his vehicle onto the median and drove onto the oncoming traffic lanes. Mr. Booth then bailed from his vehicle, end quote. In bond court, Judge Glazer says Booth's alleged behavior was not the childhood classmate she remembers.
He was the best kid in middle school. I used to play football with him, all the kids, and look what has happened. I am so sorry to
Oh my goodness.
Mr. Booth, I hope you were able to change your ways. Good luck to you.
Oh my goodness.
And as Booth continues to cry, Judge Glazer delivers a message she hopes will help turn his life around.
What's sad is how old we've become.
Oh my goodness.
Good luck to you, sir. I hope you were able to come out of this okay and just lead a lawful life.
So, I want you guys to focus with me here. What was the first thing that the judge said about this man? He was the nicest kid. Now, before we get into how his character was, there is a judge and there is a burglar who went to the same school. Now, why do you think this girl, Mindy, grew up to be Judge Mindy, who chose the path to become a lawyer, eventually a judge, and this man, forgot his name, chose the wrong way, Mr. Booth. You see what I'm talking about? It's if they were in the same conditions, in the same school, what happened for them to choose two completely different paths in life? You see, even though he was the nicest kid in school, even though he was on the football team, even though he had all the future opened up in front of him, he made a mistake. And he ended up in a burglary. And if they put a case on him, burglary with an arm or something, he's gone. He'll be gone for forever. Meanwhile, this lady, this judge, is living the life, making tons of money. By the way, she's married with 4 kids. She has a family and she's successful. Now, most people start their first step like Mr. Booth. They started with a bad decision they make when they hang out with the wrong crowd, with the wrong friends. Most of us are good people, but when you have friends pushing you to do something bad, well, we tend to do it just to impress them and fit in and look cool because we want nobody to point their finger at us. And that's the difference. Now the choice lies with each one of us. Do you want to be like the judge? Do you want to be like the criminal? It's a matter of choosing. Life is a choice, and a choice with like a sword with two sharp edges. You better be very careful what you do with your future. We go to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah Al-Kahf. He says to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and of course to all of us, Yani, make yourself remain patient with those who invoke their Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the morning and the evening, seeking a look in His face. Because the ultimate pleasure when you go to Al-Jannah is looking at Allah's face. So if you want to take this advice from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is remain with good people. If you see your friends do something not good, even though it may look cool, quit them. Stay away from them, because that one decision. You know, I know a friend of mine. She's a Muslim convert, and her husband is a very good friend of mine. And one day they used to go, they live in San Diego, and every weekend they go to LA. And I said, wow, we go to LA every weekend. She told me, my wife has to go help her mom every weekend. I said, why? I mean, that's a lot of commute every weekend. I didn't understand. He said, because her sister is disabled, has a disability, and the mom takes care of her 24/7, and for the mom to go do some shopping, someone has to be with the sister. But the disability is not something that she was born with, it's something that happened. And then now the wife is telling me the story. She said, when my sister was 15 years old, my cousin got his license, he bought a car, he came to our house. Hey, come drive, take you for a ride. Of course, they're American, and she just jumped in with her cousin in the car, and they were driving. Well, the cousin that day made a choice. He had a couple of beers, and he was driving. He didn't seem to be drunk, but he was driving. He got up in the canyons, and he's showing off, trying to look cool, trying to impress his cousins. And he's drifting and going, hey, look at that. And the girls are screaming, stop, you're crazy. And then one thing happened. One of his wheels slid off pavement. He hit the rail guard and flipped the car in the canyon. The girl in the back, 15 years old, got ejected from the car. She fell on her neck, and she got quadriplegic. Broke her spine from the neck down. My friend told me my sister is a vegetable, meaning that she's laying there, she only moves her eyes, doesn't talk, doesn't show emotion, and barely breathing. If they don't give her attention 24/7 with care, she will die. They have to move her in her bed constantly so they get skin rashes. Imagine you don't stand up for your entire life. She's now 25 years old, laying in that bed. The mom is suffering for taking care of her. The daughter is suffering. The father is suffering. And most importantly, the girl is suffering. Why? Because cousin wanted the buzz in his head. You see, a small decision can ruin your life. And for that reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, remain with those who fear Allah and want to see His face. And don't obey, refuse to obey and follow those who are in heedlessness. They're not aware of Allah, not aware of the consequences of their deeds. Stay away from them. Because this type of people, all their matters are complete loss. And you all memorize the Surah Al-Zalzalah. And Allah tells us, whosoever does an atom weight of goodness will see it in the day of judgment as goodness. And whoever does an atom weight of evil will see it in the day of judgment as evil. So, we already know the consequences of people who do bad, unlawful things in the dunya. But how about these two guys? We talked about the dunya, we're going to talk about the akhirah. We already know the consequences, what the consequences will be. What's the consequences of this? What does Allah tell us about gambling in the Quran? What's Allah tell us in general, haram things in general? Well, the consequences are obvious. And the same thing applies for someone who's pious. Because again, life is a choice, a double-edged sword. Choose who you want to impress. You have a choice. Choose who you want to impress. You want to impress people and look cool and fit in? Or you want to impress your Creator and live a happy life and go to Al-Jannah? I hope that you take lesson of the freedom of choices you have and use them to your best outcome, inshallah. Until next week, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep you healthy and safe. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.